What did she know? That is the question on everyone's lips right now. What did Holly Willoughby know about the relationship between her bestie Phillip Schofield and his former lover? Holly is set to return to This Morning today and is reportedly preparing an honest and personal statement to address the Phillip Schofield scandal, which is said to be aired at the top of the eagerly awaited show. However, the BBC has reportedly smelt blood and are said to be circling Ms Willoughby like sharks, ready to strike should her loyalty to the show, and indeed ITV itself, should waver. It's the very place where her ex-co-host Phillip Schofield started his career, the BBC, who are said to be interested in signing Holly for a number of new shows, and an executive has contacted her in recent days. The corporation is said to have discussed which high-profile programs she could present if she makes the move from ITV. A source said, the bosses have had conversations this week about what they could offer her going forward. It is alleged that the BBC has been trying to poach Holly for several years, and when she last dipped her toe into Beeb waters with her primetime show Freeze the Fear with Wim Hof, she won plaudits from the most senior management at the corporation. Few more so than the powerful Chief Content Officer Charlotte Moore. The two women were seen together at last year's Variety Show Business Awards, something which sent shockwaves through ITV. Did Holly know what she was doing? Probably, says someone who knows her well. Sources at the BBC even go as far as to divulge that Moore is secretly hoping ITV will decide to part company with Holly. Holly will get bums on seats at home, one BBC insider says. She is popular with the very much sought after 16 to 24 age group, too, which is a huge deal for all broadcasters. Another source says that they want to make the 42-year-old their Saturday night star for the month Strictly Come Dancing isn't on screen. That's the dream, they said. Then there is the matter of her husband, television executive Dan Baldwin. His production company, Hungry Bear Media, makes programs for channels across the industry, although his biggest customer is the BBC. He, too, has been trying to pair his wife up with other male co-stars on his shows, such as the aforementioned Lee Mack on Freeze the Fear and also Bradley Walsh on Bradley and Holly Take Off, which has ensured that Holly isn't indelibly linked to Schofield in the public's minds. Some say Baldwin foresaw a problem coming down the line with Schofield, a man who was once a frequent visitor to Dan and Holly's £6 million home in Barnes, southwest London. Recently, a friend of Ms Willoughby said, when Phil admitted the truth about his younger partner, Holly was shell-shocked. She couldn't believe it, it came from nowhere, and she had no idea it was about to happen. It took some time for her to register it, and, yes, it has hurt her. Phil was someone she was close to for a very long time, and the fact she had even asked him if anything had gone on or was going on, and she was lied to, was really hurtful for her. Really? Are we as a reasonably intelligent nation meant to believe that Holly Willoughby knew nothing? Besties who holiday together, party together, work together, confide in each other behind the scenes under the glow of the flickering bulbs around the rim of the dressing room mirror, deep within the heart of the This Morning studios. When Holly accepted the national television gong on behalf of This Morning for the Best Daytime Show in 2018, she wasn't just surrounded by her fellow presenters, who included Ruth Langsford and Alison Hammond, and the program's editor Martin Frizzell. Also smiling among the top brass was a handsome but lowly 20-something production assistant. As we now know, this was Phillip Schofield's much younger lover at the time. For such a junior member of staff to be included in this illustrious group certainly surprised his superiors, many of whom were not invited to celebrate the award with the great and good of the program. He was also, apparently, on the VIP riverboat organized by ITV executive Emma Gormley, which had arranged to take the talent up the Thames from the broadcaster's HQ to the O2 Arena, where the awards were taking place. One former staff member tells me, "You should have seen him on there, quaffing champagne." It was a treat for the talent and very high-ups, not the junior production assistants. That the young man had been invited to such an exclusive gathering adds credence to the fact that surely Emma Gormley and others must have known that he and Schofield had some kind of close relationship. In particular, there has been speculation in some quarters over what Holly knew. For in addition to these images, she and the young man were seen interacting outside an event 2 years later. Yes, it is a fact that many people live double lives, and keep secrets from wives, loved ones, and friends, but the thing that Binkerhole cannot get past are the images of Holly Willoughby wearing an ethereal gown talking to, and reportedly receiving a kiss on the cheek from the man in question at the NTAs outside the O2 Arena in London. Is that really the full picture of the night that has been splashed across the recent front pages? We are not so sure. The following is not Binkerhole's opinion. It has already been alleged in the public domain that this particular interaction was perhaps not so much a friendly one, but a hostile confrontation. Philip's former lover was rumored to be rather inebriated and had been thrown out on the order of Schofield from the VIP segment after party. It has also been alleged that the pair had recently broken up and the young man had been moved to Loose Women from this morning. Not in shot, but nearby, Philip could be seen vaping, with his wife Stephanie standing next to him. The photos were taken on January 28, 2020, before Phil came out as gay. In his first interview since the scandal erupted, Schofield insisted Holly had been entirely ignorant of the affair. Holly did not know about the romance. If anyone is in any way linking Holly to this, that is absolutely, wholly untrue, he insisted. Ms Willoughby was also said to be irritated that he had apologized to her so publicly. He said, "I WhatsApped her on the day I put out the statement. I said, you don't have to reply, you probably can't, but I want to say I'm desperately sorry." As Schofield predicted, Holly did not respond. While he claimed it was because she would have been advised not to. Perhaps it could be said that Holly felt conflicted because Schofield was the man who catapulted her to stardom when he insisted she replaced Fern Britton in 2009. It's even been alleged that she has always felt indebted to him for giving her the co-presenting role, though it is also said that he did so because he thought that he could control the dynamic. Never did he think she would become the more successful and popular one. A friend of Holly's at ITV said, "Can you imagine suspecting that the man who made you was having an affair with a much younger man who worked on your show, asking him, he lies, and then you find this out?" What was Holly supposed to do? Apparently, Holly said last year that she does not think any woman should be blamed for a man's bad behavior. But as she prepares to return to This Morning today for the first time since her fallout with Schofield became public, alongside former Big Brother winner Josie Gibson, she is facing calls to resign. For the first time in her lucrative career, serious questions are being asked about Holly's position, and ITV's This Morning will reportedly be undertaking heavy vetting of public callers to protect presenters from outbursts over the Phillip Schofield scandal. Production staff will screen callers, and audience interaction segments are also to be paused to avoid any abuse being sent towards presenters. Holly's allies point out, ITV cannot sack her without clearing out its entire management team, which is coming under increasing pressure to admit whether they were aware of Schofield's relationship. Insiders say that there would be no way she would accept being told to go while the head of daytime TV Emma Gormley stayed. As she arrives back in the studio today, suntan and all, she will surely also be desperately wishing that those images of her standing close to her former co-star's young lover would disappear for good. Now Holly is back on terra firma after living it up in the Algarve, where she drank beers on the beach and chatted to waiters while wearing a straw hat with dark sunglasses. She has been papped wearing a carefree smile on her face in what, in Binkerhole's opinion, are heavily staged photographs. "Nothing to see here, I'm all right, Jack, in my £8 million villa in the sun," incidentally where she used to enjoy holidays together with Philip Schofield, popping in and out of their adjacent luxury villas. Regarding her forthcoming statement, a source said, she will be honest and open, mentioning him by name. She's not shying away from the tricky subject as she wants to show up for the viewers and loyal fans. She has thought about what she will say and written it in advance, taking her time to get the words right. It's not something she's being forced to do. It won't be an easy moment for her, and she knows she could get emotional, but she thinks it's the right thing to do and wants to speak about it in an honest way. She will present the show largely as normal, which will include an interview with Queen singer Adam Lambert, it has been reported. Holly will be joined by two co-hosts as she returns to the sofa following the Phillip Schofield scandal. Craig Doyle, 52, on Wednesday and Thursday's shows, and Josie Gibson, 38, will sit alongside her on Monday and Tuesday's installments. Holly posted a cryptic message on Instagram on Sunday ahead of her return to This Morning. She uploaded a snap of the strawberry moon on her wellness page Wild Moon alongside words urging others to maintain a positive perspective. Last night, on the eve of the much-anticipated return of Holly Willoughby to This Morning, photos came to light showing Phillip Schofield embracing his elderly mother after he was sacked from the show. Philip was seen hugging his mother Pat, 87, on a bench overlooking the sea in Newquay, Cornwall, last month. Philip and his mother had driven from her home to their favorite fish and chip shop on Friday, May 19th, before heading out to Pentire Headland where they looked out over the sea, The Sun reports. The presenter, who had hosted This Morning since 2002, had been in the seaside town to support his mother as his brother, Timothy, was being sentenced. The same day her youngest son was jailed for 12 years, Pat was told by her eldest child that he had lost his job. While getting fish and chips with his mother, Philip received a phone call from his manager telling him bosses at the channel wanted him to lead the show. In an interview with The Sun last week, he said, "I had to go down to Cornwall to be with her for the sentencing. And our family thing was always to buy fish and chips and go and sit on the headland. I picked my mum up and she went in to get the fish and chips, and while she was getting them, my phone rang. It was my then manager saying, 'Mate, I am so sorry, it has become too loud for ITV. You will have to step down from this morning.' And she arrived in the car. She said to me before I arrived, 'You're not coming down with any bad news, are you?' She sat in the car and she was all happy to see me, and then she said, 'Oh, your face has changed.' I said, 'Let's go on to the headland.' And I had to tell her." Binkerhole wonders if the timing of the release of the photos has something to do with Holly's return to the show and the statement that she is set to make. "We wonder why they haven't been released over the last 3 weeks. For what reason are they now appearing? There's one thing we've learned in life, is to question everything. We wonder how the presumably sun-kissed Holly is feeling right now, with just hours to go before her big moment. Is she feeling nervous? She will know that all eyes will be on her and that the fingers of the media will be poised over their keyboards, ready and waiting for, well, anything really. A slip-up, a slight or even a revelation within that statement, which she has no doubt ruminated over for fear of saying the wrong thing. Binkerhole feels that beneath the soft giggles and pretty face lies a hard-faced calculating businesswoman with a neck made of brass. We have a feeling that she will swan into the studios of This Morning and perform for the camera like a well-oiled machine and look fresh as a daisy. Despite initial suggestions that she would depart the show, along with her bestie Philip, sources claim she is needed to steady the ship at the program. Talking of ships, Jane McDonald recently sailed up to ITV's British Soap Awards wearing a golden shimmering gown. Apparently, she was drafted in at the last minute as Phillip Schofield's replacement because she was a particularly low-key choice and ITV bosses wanted to make the replacement as seamless as possible. It would have been the 13th successive year if Schofield had hosted the event. The number 13, unlucky for some. The operatic singer and cruise ship favorite, Jane, styled her brunette locks into glam waves while highlighting her features with a sleek palette of makeup. So, to conclude, we will revisit our original question. What did Holly Willoughby know? Did she know about her best friend's ex-lover? Binkerhole finds it very difficult indeed to believe that she didn't know, especially after the young man's alleged outburst 3 years ago at the NTAs. Will Holly ever admit it? Not likely. And will those sharks at the BBC catch up with Holly Willoughby anytime soon? Will This Morning manage to shake off its tarnished image? It could be said that the once good ship ITV has been basking in the sun on the crest of a wave for far too long. Could the Phillip Schofield scandal bring any more revelations to the surface from the deep, and will Holly Willoughby decide to stay and risk going down with a sinking ship? Please like and subscribe for more journeys through the Binkerhole. For entertainment purposes only.